Should be some nice jazzy beats to this. Some tunes, but clearly I don't know what I'm doing. Whatever. It works how it works. Nice little fade. Bam, we're live.
Hey, how'd he do?
Dude, I love fooling around with this stuff. It's so much fun to get it right. Anyways, guys, welcome. It's just that thing. I started it once like 6 months ago when we had Rolo and Rich on here. I'm just calling them Lloyd's Coffee. I'll get into the story later. You can find out on Patreon. But John from Modern Life Dating's here. What's going on, John? What time is it there in Japanistan?
It is 12:04 a.m. I have already lived my Wednesday. It is now Thursday, technically. I'm just chilling.
Dude, I don't know how you pull these hours. You've been doing that since your body language mastery, where you're literally on like every 12 hours for an hour. And then we talk 4 hours after that and 4 hours before that. Like, do you sleep?
I do. I honestly, man, like, it's going to sound cheesy, but I love doing this. I fucking love it. I love every moment of it. I live and breathe this stuff. And I mean, I sleep. I slept today. I woke up today like 3:30 in the afternoon. So I went to bed at 4. I woke up at like, I tagged you in an Instagram post. I got this. Have you heard of that Walden Farms 0-calorie syrup?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't tried it yet, though. What is it
Dude,
they use to sweeten?
syrup, like for pancakes. I had French toast this morning, but like protein French toast and then
Mm-hmm.
0-calorie syrup, because syrup is like the most high calorie thing when you eat the waffles or the pancakes, right?
Oh, yeah, it's liquid sugar.
Yeah. I do you douse your pancakes and waffles in syrup? I do. I drown them.
I don't do bad. I actually douse them more in butter than in syrup, but I have a fat habit of putting like dollops of cottage cheese on it for protein. Everybody hates it, but I like the sourness.
Cottage cheese on your waffles?
It's basically just like a slightly sour cream. I don't know.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's one of those things. Once you get used to it, it's like putting salt on your fruit. Once you do it, you'll never realize. Like you, I don't know why you didn't do it before, but to explain it, people are like, "That's crazy." But
Wow.
yeah, we're not here to talk about my breakfasts and yours. We're here to talk about. It's funny you said you love this stuff because at first I thought you were joking when
Mhm.
you said, "Hey, during this pandemic, I'm going to teach guys how to still succeed in the dating thing." And I'm like,
Yep.
and then I found out it's real. And not only is it real, it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's-
Well, I mean, look, dude. Look, a lot is gonna have to happen in the world to stop people from having sex. A lot. You know what I mean?
oh, you're coming after my territory where the girl brings you something while you're on camera. All right.
She's trying to get some clout. I don't know why she's doing this, but I'll eat it.
That's all right. It's better than when Donnie's girl was on there, buck naked, trying to grab heels off the thing. It was just weird. But yeah, oh, so how did it work? I saw it. At first, I thought it was like you had like a workout thing where you're doing before, showing guys how to work out.
Hmm.
And I swear to God, everybody who knows you assumes as soon as they start seeing you, like the first guy never seen you before, he assumes you're a damn fool just screwing around and like. But then, like after 3 or 4 different things watching you, you kind of realize like you take this stuff pretty seriously, and I'm not sure why you do it, but it's interesting as hell. You know what I
You know,
mean?
yeah, for sure. No, I have a dog in this fight for sure, because when I was, obviously grew up without a dad, and when you grow up without a dad, just the whole learning how to become a man thing, it's a little bit harder than a guy that does have a dad in the
Right.
household, right? When you get raised by a bunch of women, they don't know how to raise a man, and I was smart enough to know that I wanted to look for answers on the internet, and I just kept on running into scam artists after scam artists after scam artists, and I got so livid. I remember there was this fucking Indian PUA named Magic, and I thought this guy was like legit, and he tried to sell me some fucking garbage course and try to like, trick me into some shit. And I just remember like I couldn't find anybody that was legitimate, and I was like trying so hard to like find my masculinity. Like a lot of guys, they just try to like I think every man, at least I always asked myself, like, am I man enough? When I was in my early 20s, I was like, am I a real man, or am I just like do I just have a Y chromosome? And it was such like a thing for me that the whole reason I moved to Japan, I don't know if you know this, but Me coming to Japan was me creating my own rite of passage. I had read about rite of passages and like Native
Hmm.
American lore and whatnot, and like they would tell you like, hey, we're gonna give you. You're 16 years old. We're gonna give you a bag of water. We're gonna give you a spear, and you got to come back to the village with a wolf's fur, or you're not a man. And if he did, he came back. They gave him a wife or whatever. If he didn't, they're like, all right, go hang out with George Bruno in the corner over there.
There's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
He failed the test too. So, I just wanted to, become a man and feel like I was a man. So that's why I came to Japan, and it worked out. And I learned a lot of things along the way. And I know a lot of people think I'm like young and immature, which is true, but I am 34, so I have a few life lessons under my belt. And
I don't mean to laugh. You're telling this
you know,
heartfelt story, and I'm just chuckling on the side here
I don't
like
care.
an
It's all
ass.
good. I'm not offended at all. I mean, I'm having a good time. I'm eating kiwi. My girl's right next to me. We're just chilling out. And I just wanted to. I really have a heart to like help guys out, and that's why I do it. I mean, why else would I fucking sit here and live stream 6 days a week for the past year and a half now? Like, I'm not that much of a loser. Like,
Oh, dude, your hours are crazy.
you know,
And that's the thing, because you still like keep up your love life and dating and all that stuff and the courses. So I really don't think you have a hobby outside of this. It's just
hmm,
crazy. But I feel what you feel, because that's how I joined the military. I didn't think of it so much as a rite of passage, but it was just kind of aimless. And I'm like, you know what? Queen and country, it sounds like as good a mission as any, you know.
hmm, interesting. Yeah. No, I do have a hobby too. I do. I play video games. Obviously, I'm a big Soul Calibur fan, and then Call of Duty, and then I go to jujitsu and kickboxing down the road. Obviously, it's got shut down. I lift weights, and I really like shopping, and I'm a big fan of like fashion and cooking as well.
Well, yeah,
So
like I don't people think people know this, but that robe you're wearing there probably costs more than people's rent.
this
Is that
this
your
is the
Versace?
no, this is the poor people robe. This one
Oh,
actually, this one fit. I've had this robe for 10 years.
really?
If this robe was under a black light, R.I.P. Man. Um, but no, the Versace robe is in the other room. I honestly I only wear the Versace robe to like show off as like a marketing tool.
Yeah,
I actually hate the way it's towel material, and I really hate.
yeah. Oh,
It's a $500 towel. That's what it is. Uh,
jeez.
this this one was from like Macy's or something, and my mom got it for me. This is like $40, but this is like a polyester cotton blend. So much more comfortable. So much more comfortable.
Dude, fair enough. Well, that's the thing. So I guess we're gonna get back to pandemic. I thought it was hilarious because I got out of the game right about the time Tinder got started. So I
Mm-hmm.
missed out on Tinder, what's it, Bumble, Hush, or
Mm-hmm.
Hinge?
Mm-hmm.
Hinge?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I
Hinge.
missed out on all those. And I learned there's in our space, there's this guy, Mallard Cove, who wrote a Tinder guide. There's
Mm-hmm.
other people swapping notes, but I have no experience on it here. So I thought it was kind of interesting because when we talked beforehand about your course, I'm like, so who's the end user here? And the way you're explaining it to me, it's like literally for guys like me
Yeah.
who have no idea where to get started and have
Right.
never done an online dating thing or did it and got zero swipes. I think, is that fair?
Yeah. So what it is, it's a complete breakdown on how to have if we here, and this is me being kind of giving a disclaimer. If you have zero knowledge, this is us taking you from zero knowledge to having worst case scenario a 7 out of 10 on a dating profile. Like we're gonna set up a for some guys you're gonna have more natural, attributes. If you're in better shape, if you're more handsome genetically, whatever, you're gonna have better results.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna get you guys to at least a 7 out of 10. And what the course includes, it's called Pandemic Pickup. The links in the
I
in
love
the
that
chat.
name.
You like that? That was
I
that.
love that name.
That was my marketing genius. So Pandemic Pickup is the name of the course. And I've never been a big fan of just like giving a course and be like, okay, get out there and be somebody, right? So the course has two components. And the first component is the online dating educational section, which is letting you know, hey, these are the apps we're using. These are the apps that are popular right now. This is the hottest dating app in the world right now. And then there's a second section, which is how to exercise at home because we're all locked down with this whole stupid pandemic.
Hmm.
I don't know about you, but I gained a little weight, in this whole
I'm up
friggin'
5. I feel you.
yeah, it's terrible. That's why I got the 0 calorie pancake syrup. Got to make got to make some friggin' amendments.
Oh, just be glad. I guess they don't do sourdough over there. My girl's been making it here, and homemade
Mhm.
sourdough is delicious.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, sourdough's not that popular in Japan, but I love it. I love that just that crisp aftertaste when you bite into it, and it just like
Yeah.
that last chord of flavor is so delicious.
Oh, dude, I wish I was gluten intolerant because that's not that's not what I should be eating.
Well, they say about people who eat, people who enjoy food, they're usually trustworthy people. I enjoy, not like indulge. I say enjoy, not indulge, because you still take care of yourself. You're fit, but you enjoy eating too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's not hard just to not be a gigantic lard ass.
I
Well, I mean,
know.
maybe it is hard because apparently a lot of our countrymen here are having problems with it.
Well, a lot of these guys are, yeah, they are. They're doing what they're doing.
But
But
that's funny.
anyways,
You're saying too, a lot of guys like Magic, which I kind of vaguely remember. He used to work with Mystery, I think, which was
hmm
hilarious. But yeah, I remember there were so many guys, they would just look disheveled and ugly, and they'll say, yeah, you can look just as much of a bag of crap as this and still get eights, nines, and tens. It always
hmm
seemed disingenuous to me, especially because the kind of guy who wanted to hear that was also like nobody ever told him how to be a man, which
hmm
sometimes it's just as simple as put the fork down and pick up a weight, like little things like that.
hmm
So I kind of enjoy how you actually put that into there too, where they would call it, I guess you would call that inner game.
Right. Well, and we talk about, that we give you the truth. Like you can't be a fat fuck like RSD Tyler and be like, yeah, I get eights, nines, and tens. Like if he does get women like that, he's definitely leveraging status and money without a shadow of a doubt. That's just the reality of game. If you have fame or you have copious amounts of money, you can lack in the looks department. But he does have semblances of game too. I mean, he's been teaching this for over a decade, right? So he knows what he's doing. But going back to the course itself, it includes a full breakdown of the online dating aspect of the course, and then it has a full breakdown of the fitness aspect, and then there's a hands-on part where we put the guys in a full encrypted Telegram chat group that is allowing you to have unlimited coaching until the end of the year, right? And then also we have 12 2-hour long webinars that are hosted on Zoom that we're actually going to build these guys dating profiles in those Zoom webinars from the ground up.
Oh,
We're
yes,
gonna
that's even like a bigger deal because body language mastery. If you guys don't know, John had a course about reading body language. None of that green line bullshit either. It
yeah.
was like actual body language and the subtleties to it. He wasn't using celebrities. I think it was you and a model you hired,
Yep,
like just
I
to
did.
show examples in that.
Yes, I hired two different models, and I used all the experience I had gotten because I've been on over 500 dates, so I have like just a huge mental database of this body language that I would notice on these dates, and it's a true game changer for sure. But this one is just a little bit more body
Yeah, it's
language
more.
mastery. Yeah, body language mastery is more targeted on just like overall men's improvement, which is helping guys make more money, more muscles, and obviously learn more game. This one is just straight up game related, a thousand
Yeah.
percent game related.
But that was what I liked about it was the thing because you didn't like you said, I've done I think 2 or 3 online courses before I ran into you. And then I just loved it right away because you had 2 hours a day where you were literally sitting there and people don't know you used to be a teacher, but you were walking guys through the material. So it was like there was no excuse not to take the course. There was no excuse not to take all the modules. There was no excuse not to show up to the webinars at least once a day. And where you literally handheld some people who are having troubles with parts and walking them through. So it's like no child left behind. But in this
Absolutely.
one, yeah, you're doing that. But not only that, instead of just a group setting, you're actually one-on-oneing it too, where it's literally workshopping a guy's profile.
Yeah, and
Dude, you're
that's
more
the thing.
patient than me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But but I think I agree with you. I agree with you, and I don't think this business model will be sustainable down the road when I have like 100,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Hmm.
But right now, I'm floating it around like 6,600, so it's still sustainable at this level. But I just want to get in on the ground level and help these guys out right now while I can because that's what the market is wanting. These guys, there's so much lost in translation. You know what I mean? If I gave
Yeah.
you a PDF and I told you to decipher it, and I gave Rich a PDF and I told him to decipher it, you guys would not completely come to the same conclusions just based off of, lost in translation.
Yeah.
And so that's what these guys want, is they like want concrete, hands-on coaching, face to face, because they also want someone to emote to, which I understand. Like they're like, "Yo, like this shit sucks. Like I'm suffering. This is something I'm not enjoying going through. How can I get through this?" And the community has kind of taken its own life as well, because there's guys within the community. I have older guys in there that are like 63, 61, and 57, and they join. They specifically paid the registration fee to join just to give back to the young men and help them out.
Oh, dude, I was remembering I can't remember what his name is. He was the white-haired guy. He was in the last one of your
Ah,
courses I was on.
Wraith.
Wraith, yeah, and he starts and I'm like, "Oh man, this guy's not just an old dude, like he's slaying too."
Yeah, dude, he's 62 and he banged a 26-year-old the other day.
I don't want to hear none of this. My jawline ain't good enough.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, and he's old school American man too. He's like, when I talk to him, he's very short with what he says, and he's very stoic, and there's no emotion in his voice. He's just like, yeah, I hit her up and told her to come over, and we had sex. And I'm like, no, like, and he's like, well, the younger guy's like, well, how did you do this, this, and this? He's like, you're thinking too much. Like, just go ask her out. And if she says no, go ask out another girl. And it's just like, the guy's like, they're millennials. They're like, it can't be this simple. He's like, just stop being a pussy and do it.
No fear. I love it.
He's a good guy. He's a really, really good guy. And, he was married for a very long time. He's a widower, and his wife passed away a couple years ago. I believe it was due to cancer or something. But he ain't having nobody feel sorry for him. He's in the gym. He's lifting weights, and he's doing his best to kick life's ass. And I mean, he's really just enjoying himself. And in his day job, he's like a job advisor at a college. So he
Right?
like helps the guys pick the right paths and stuff. Like for
Oh, that's
real
neat.
jobs too, like not like feminist basket weaving theory and shit like that. So, I mean, he's a great guy, man. He's a seriously great guy, and that's the community. They're all just full of great guys. I don't like, I fucking threw Corey out. Like, I don't deal with people who are shitheads. Like, I don't have that. I don't have time for that. I would rather take a guy who is not as skilled as I want him to be, but he's a good guy, over a guy that's super skilled, but he's an asshole. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
potential makes total sense.
Yes.
And I don't think it's a point a lot of people notice too when people talk about like dating or courses or how to build online dating profiles and Instagram. We'll get to the Instagram thing later, but a lot of guys think it's just 20-year-olds who are sitting in their basement and they don't get any dates. They forget sometimes it's like we had one too. Frenchie, he was like, think 62. His wife died. He literally had like the perfect unicorn, high school sweetheart. She died of cancer in his 60s, and he had to go out and start dating again. But he, like you said, he hadn't touched dating since the 80s.
Hmm.
But like a lot of the time, it's not. It's like normal dudes. It's regular dudes. It's guys that were crushing it in 99% of things, but there was just that one thing that they never had to develop. So it's neat to watch those guys in there with you because, I mean, if you had a bit of a scammy atmosphere, there's no way some guy who has been working in the industry for 20 years or building himself a business, like they
Yeah.
sniff that stuff out a mile away.
Yeah, and that's the thing, it's when you do hard work, like hard work with extreme credibility in the business moving forward, you know, the grind is a lot slower, but the trust and the longevity of the trust is a lot longer. Does that make sense?
Of course it does. It's like 48 Laws of Power, which like every red pill guy is supposed to have read it. And that's the first, I think it's the first, oh no, second rule was treat your reputation like your life depended on it.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
it's true. You're right. Like same thing. I think that's why we all kind of got along on like all the Rule Zero guys, because everybody has that slow build. We don't want to build some goofy course on how to turn your girl into a hoe or
Yeah.
the next scam down the line. It's like small things. Like it took me a year to write a book. It took Body Language Mastery. It took a year out of your life plus like another year just to build the thing. Like these aren't short-term gimmicks. These are like long-term investments. And it's nice because guys, I was talking to a lot of them that were coming onto your course, the body language mastery, and I'm sure it'll be this one too,
Hmm.
where the medium behind the message, just seeing how much effort and energy and investment and you put into it, kind of let them know, like, all right, he's in it for the long haul. And it kind of forced them to step up their game and invest themselves in it as well, which is, I think, much better than just a here you go, good luck, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. The guys these days, they don't want a here you go, good luck, sir. All right. They want like they want it's the millennials. They want the meticulous step by step breakdown.
Yeah.
And I give that to them because as of right now, that's the best solution I can bring to the course. And that's what I do to these guys. They're the this is gonna sound gay or whatever, but like you gotta have compassion for these guys because a lot of these guys are legitimately suffering. They're
Yeah.
like legitimately suffering,
And that's the worst
and
part. Who can they talk to when they're suffering?
yes,
You can't talk to a girl. She'll laugh at you. You talk to your parents, they'll just pat you on the head, tell you good job if they're even around.
yeah,
You can
a-
maybe talk to your buddies, but a lot of these guys, the same buddies are suffering too. So there's like literally nobody. Pastor will just tell you to marry the single mom.
and that's what I always tell them. I say, some of you guys got into this course. You're like, you're suffering to the extent that you trust a fucking stranger on the internet wearing a robe and sunglasses. Like, you know what I mean? But it's I do it all for like part of me being so ridiculous on the internet is to kind of like keep the SJWs away from me. So because they'll look on the surface layer and be like, oh, this guy's an idiot. He wears sunglasses and a robe. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Dude, that's
And
damn clever.
yeah, that's what I do it all. That's why I like have the Matrix background and I'm kind of retarded sometimes. But it's like the guys who stay and pay attention and the guys in my community can tell you like I deliver results for these dudes. Like these dudes are making more money, and I'm not talking like, oh, I made $500. Like getting $20,000 and $30,000 raises. Because before this, I was in the recruitment industry, so I know how to leverage offered letters and how to negotiate more salaries, how to play one company against another for the middleman to get the most money,
Mm-hmm.
and by constantly delivering this high value behind the paywall where all the good stuff is, I'm able to build that again, that longevity that I'm searching for, that longevity and that trust with the community.
Yeah, 100%. So pandemic. I'm gonna see if I can remember it. So you're doing the starting from zero. Oh yeah, Instagram's thing. This is something blew me away. I didn't find this out until I went down to Florida for
Mhm.
some no named Spurgy convention, which shall not be named. I should have just gone to Disneyland, but whatever. Um, yeah. So the first time I was talking to somebody, and they're like, "Yeah, we should talk again." I'm like, "Sure." So I go to pull out a phone to give a phone number, and then they looked at me like I had three effing heads, and they're like, "No, no, no." And they pulled out a Snapchat barcode or asking my Instagram. I'm like, "What the hell?" Like
Yep.
that's the thing now.
Yeah, man. So listen, the thing is, well, let me tell you what's going on with girls. Instagram is your business card.
Hmm.
Like they're like they don't want to see your business card. They don't want to see anything. They're like, what's your Instagram? They want to see what you are. And Instagram has become an extension of a woman's identity these days. Women put so much effort into cultivating their Instagram to show the world a version of them that really doesn't exist, but what they want the world to see. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I've been having it out with Riv all day over that.
He hasn't blocked you yet?
No, no, no. He likes the attention.
Yeah.
Apparently, making fun of any attention's good attention, right?
Oh man,
It's
yeah.
4D chess, and I'm losing.
He blocked me today. He's done with me.
Well, you get right savage though. That's the thing. Like once you smell blood, I'm like, fuck. Underneath that bathrobe, there's teeth.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a whole layer of teeth and scarred body from. I'm not gonna say it. Let's stay monetized.
Sweet.
But yeah, going back to that guy, right? That's just what I'm saying. And you see me behind the scenes how I get so fucking livid and angry.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I hate every single Twitter manosphere guru guy out there. Any guy that doesn't want to show his face, that doesn't want to get on camera and talk about real stuff rather than just sitting there reading and writing. I mean, there's so many fucking frauds and fakes out there that it just really and it's a moot point for me to get so upset,
Hmm.
but I do get upset, and I know it's stupid, but I just like I lividly and truly hate those guys because they're just like they're selling fake masculinity. They're not selling real solutions. And again, I know it's stupid, like because that I can never fix it, I can never change it. But it's just everybody has that one thing, and that's my one thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I feel it. The only reason I don't get as mad as you is because, and this is thanks to Rolo. I used to think they were just scamming and grifting, and they thought it was a nice thing, but they actually knew.
Yeah,
Part of me is starting to come to the understanding that they don't know any better.
they don't know. They're just dummies. They're
Yeah,
just
and
fucking
you don't
dummies.
practice this stuff. Like, if you don't practice the things in your pandemic pickup, like if you can't build yourself an Instagram profile that will get chicks wet, which I cannot believe that's a term I'm even saying. Like if you don't know how to approach or get good photos, like I don't think guys notice like how important the photos are.
Yeah, I
And they
mean
keep
that's
thinking if you say the right words on the chat, you'll be fine.
no, and that's and the reality is like the average guy, he is he's so incompetent with women. He
Hmm.
doesn't even realize how incompetent he is.
Oh, that Dunning-Kruger effect.
They're just so bad, dude. Man, and no, like what's the worst thing too, Ryan? I mean, you're like you're every man's man. The average guy, he thinks he's really good with women. Like the fucking average guy. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, drives me nuts. Because I'm like, you're right. I am like the Tom Hanks of, I don't know what to call it, the sphere or whatever. Like I've
Hmm.
had my successes and they're pretty good. A lot of people, some people are impressed, some people are not. Doesn't really matter. But I know enough to know when you're getting the real deal or not. And that's the part that gets me is that we're losing. Oh, and this is going to sound so, speaking of sounding gay, you
Yeah.
remember where it used to be like granddad? He used
Gay
to bang all
crest.
the ladies. And so he kind of knew.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, and
yes.
then dad's like, "Oh, you should have been on her like a dirty shirt." And like that, there's that generation leaving, and then that generation leaving, and there's this giant gap where all you have is like grandma telling you to buy her flowers, and then mom saying, "Don't be like your my dick ex-husband."
Yeah.
And so
Who I
guys don't
banged.
even know what the promised land looks like. They've never heard a story. They've never been given advice. They've never even seen it, with the rare exception. And those guys are so clueless to it. God bless them for being naturals, that they assume, just be yourself. I just act like my 6'3" attractive self that's been doing this since 13. Why can't you? And it's frustrating, but I don't get angry. It's more like pity because they just don't know. Like, I don't think Riv has ever figured it out. And I'm pretty sure he leans in a lot with his girls, and that's why he makes that such a big point. But I'm not going to rag on him
I mean,
anymore.
I what I'm gonna say right now is gonna hurt some feelings, but it's just the truth. Like if I see a guy in his 40s, like delicious tacos and like fucking Alfa Rivolino, and they don't have their finances together to the point that they're making residual passive income and basically not a 9 to 5 slave, and they're still bumming it out like in third world countries, like those guys have failed at life. They have failed, in my opinion. They have not made something out of themselves. They don't own property. They don't have skills that they can bring to the marketplace. They are
Well,
still.
Taco's fair enough. He's a good writer, so he's bringing that. Bukowski
Mhm.
only got started at 50 to be like a prolific writer. So I hold out. I don't want to lump him with the other guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fair play. I mean, I just like the delicious tacos guy. I know you like him a lot, and he's a funny writer, but at the same time, like if you're in your 40s and you're a loser and like you're living in a shithole, women are
Fair
not gonna
enough.
women are not gonna stick around, you dummy. Like they expect you to be a little more established in your 40s. Like, what did you do in your 20s and 30s? Like, what the fuck did you do? You wasted them all. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You
that's
should,
fair.
and that's like some people are like, oh, MLD, like, well, everything's about materialism and money. Well, if you want to live a better life, getting rich is a good way to do it. I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
I wouldn't even say rich. There's a certain, like, you can see it. There's guys that have regrets and they tend to make that into like an ideology, all this, like, real men stoic and don't put up with this. A lot of it is just like they got fired by Karen and HR and they've had a chip on their shoulder.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, a lot of guys think that success means without a Ferrari.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, like if you're making mortgage payments every month, you have a mortgage, you
Hmm.
have like a decent quality of life, it shows. Even like Goldman, say what you will about him, but
Hmm.
he looks like, and I'm going to regret this, I just know it. He has his act together enough to build the lifestyle he wanted, and he's not struggling in his
Yeah.
40s. I think he's in his 40s. But you're
Is
right, a
he?
lot of guys, they're 40, I don't know, maybe. He doesn't talk to me anymore because I said a joke once about something about sun tanning your ass. I don't know.
That's another guy I don't like in the manosphere because he used to sell little penis statues, and he would tell guys, he would say, if you buy this penis statue, you will be able to pull more women, and you will be able to get them back to your house, and they'll be sexually interested in you if you show them this penis statue.
Really, like the old Roman fertility statue thing? That's
Dude,
I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
and he called them. He was like, "These are masculine accessories," and I was just like, "Okay, guy, like, dude, do you know my girl? I have brought girls back to my place to be like, hey, do you want to see my GoPro? like you don't need to lead with anything if you have game. You just the only thing you need to lead with is plausible deniability. That's the only thing you need to lead with, right?
I had cichlids, like
Yeah.
fucking fish.
Yeah.
I've actually kicked a girl out before for ruining my 600 thread count Egyptian sheets. I used to love white sheets.
Oh, really? What happened? She peed on them or what?
No.
One time I hooked up with this UK girl and she peed all over me and peed in the bed and I threw it out.
Dude.
I hated her, man.
I don't blame you. I wish it was that. No, and it was funny because so the sheets were ruined. I guess she was anemic. And the next day my mom is a seamstress, so I called her up and I'm like, yeah, what do I do? Like, how do I get these stains out?
She bled?
Anyway.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, and she's like, and I'm like, well, what kind of stains? And like, you can't really get them out of like white Egyptian cotton. They're pretty much done once they're stained. You can get it, but there'll always be a stain. I'm like, well, I got to get rid of these. And so she kept trying to get me to send them to her. She's like, I'll just cut them up and make pillowcases. And I finally had to be like, Mom, trust me, you don't want them. You don't want this stain. And then she finally clicked what I was telling her. And she's like, oh. But it was like 5 minutes of trying to cut them into sheets. It was the most awkward thing you've ever seen in your life.
Ryan, how old were you when you left the game?
When I left, I would have 30. I think 30. Okay. Around there.
And why did you leave? Why did you leave? What was your reason?
Honestly, it's in the book if you can figure that. It's right at the end.
Okay.
At the time, I was dating a bunch. A couple girls on the go, a couple plates, just got back from deployment. About a year or two after that. So one of the girls I'd been dating, my girl, that I've been dating on and off since she was 19. She was 23 then. So she's been like a plate for a long time already. And like the last 6 plates I had, I just ditched them all within like a month. Not because of, it was just like stupid stuff. Like one flaked on me once and I was kind of annoyed by that. Another one ruined my sheets. I had an onyx chessboard I got from one of my, as a war trophy when I was in Ensenada for Fleet Week.
Damn, was it black?
Yeah, black and gray.
That sounds sick.
It was sick, but that's the thing. Like, I traveled around the world. I got a lot of trinkets from all my travels, and she smashed it. So
one chick did?
One chick did, yeah. There was and my favorite martini glass.
Ass, man. I would have beat her ass and be like, yeah, she fell down the stairs.
But that was the thing, and I had the realization, like, I have dated a lot of women. Not, like, nowadays guys are like 200-300 is nothing. And I'm like, all right, fine, fair enough. But before Tinder, it actually meant something. But anyways.
Yeah, fair play.
It was like a year of dating. And this one girl didn't do anything that had a red flag to it. And I knew all the red flags. I've had everything happen to me that can happen to a guy short of an accidental pregnancy. Thank God. Or getting the hep. It's the only 2 things I haven't had. And I realized this, like I'm dating like girl after girl after girl, and they all make the same stupid mistakes. And this one, for an extended period of time, plus she was like the youngest one of the girls I was dating, never made any mistakes, no red flags. And I'm like, yeah. I told her I put her on 90-day probation. We're going to try dating for 90 days, see how it works. We were having Caesars. We just got back from like one of these like bondage parties where they whip people up on the stage while you're hanging out. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, then it was just after the 90 days, I'm like, she's actually pretty nice. Like the worst thing that ever happened is she passed out in my tub once. She came home from the bar while I was working. I got home from work and just saw her sleeping in the tub. I'm like, oh, she came home. Good enough.
That's good. Is that
but I was current? Just in it. Yeah. What's that?
That's your current?
Yeah. 11 years now.
Good shit.
So I didn't actually mean to leave. It just kind of happened. I just followed like what is causing the most value in my life. It's kind of like, here's the link back to pandemic pickup. When you follow things that have value and you have enough experience to know things that aren't valuable, you just kind of guide yourself into a better path of life. And I thought it was great. I could imagine it would probably have been harder had I not only had to do all the dating and the body language and having abundance and all that, but if I also on top of that had to keep up a social media profile and what's the other one you had on here you were talking about? Yeah, just like professional photos to get a Tinder thing done. Like that's an extra level of work. So I don't envy guys just getting into the game now. It is difficult, and I wouldn't fault a guy for having to take a course on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, look, the reality is this, and it's irrefutable to deny this. Like, the quickest way to get where you want to get is the mentorship model. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about that. You know, if you want to become an excellent chef, do you go to a fucking fisherman? You're like, hey, can you teach me how to cook? Or do you go to a world renowned chef? You're like, hey, I need you to teach me how to cook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'll learn that way. It's a fool's errand and a poor man's thinking that if you want to get results, you're better off saving time. You're better off saving money than saving time. Like, oh, you could figure out online dating yourself. Could you? Yeah, but could you figure it out faster if you talk to a guy who's already mastered it? What
That's
do you
it. How
think?
much do you value your time?
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And so, you know, it's another thing too is like, and I take pride in it, but like us selling to men are the hardest things in the world to sell to.
Yeah.
Women are so easy. Like just like if I had trouble selling this bottle, all I would do is I would spray paint it pink and then I would sell it to a girl. Some girl would buy it. You know
Sure,
what I mean?
she's strong and powerful with it.
Hell yeah. Put it like, this is the patriarchy smasher, baby. You can buy this right now. Give me your credit card. I mean, it's a testament to how this is gonna sound so self righteous, but I'm just gonna say it. Like I'm literally choosing to do like one of the hardest things ever, which is like sell to men. Like if I wanted to, I could go out and con the shit out of these chicks. Women are dumb and easy to sell to.
Well, they're emotional.
Yeah, exactly. And they're so easy to sell to, dude. So easy. And they have have you ever been in a position where you have the authority over a sales transaction? Women are like so dumbfounded when it comes to like negotiations at a table, like, and just like, oh, I guess I'll get 22% APR. Sure, I'll sign that.
Walk into actually. Oh, I don't know if I should. I'll tell this story. Yeah, I get it. My girl, when we first got together, she wanted to buy a treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
Friend was selling one on like a Kijiji or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, it's like, they wanted $100, something stupid. I'm like, hey, it's good practice. I had just gotten back from like the souks in Dubai, and like negotiation and haggling was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tried giving her some tips. I'm like, just try this. It's not even about the money. It's kind of just making it a game. So it's enjoyable. She walks up with like the money in hand outstretched to the other lady. And I was like, she's grown a lot since then. And now she's just a shark, but like she made some mistakes along the way. And I know a lot of girls haven't even matured to the level where they're willing to even try to negotiate. So I don't blame you. You are right though. Guys are hard. If you guys wonder why every ad for men is about like, this makes you a man, and they drop a thing of boulders into your Chevy truck, that's exactly why they're doing it. Because they're trying to skip your frontal lobe, get to that limbic brain, make you feel like a man, touch that insecurity, draw some green lines on the truck, and y'all buy it.
Yeah.
Well, the truck doesn't lean.
Oh man. But
it's good though, the fact that it's hard, and because guys didn't sign up to body language mastery because of emotions. They did it because they actually wanted a result from something, like a value add, heaven forbid. Mm-hmm. But the part I liked about it is it kind of held you, at least for me, even the little bits when I snuck in there, it held people to task. Like, all right, I'm not here to screw around. Like, these guys are expecting results. I can't just tell them how great they are, pat them on the head, and send them on their way. Because they're going to end up having a Telegram channel of 30 some people, then going online saying how this course is completely scammy out of $6,000, or not mentioning any names in specific.
And that's the thing. Like, I know if I just play the longevity game, eventually I'm going to rise to the top because I just consistently deliver with integrity, and it's hard work. I mean, you see, gonna rest in peace, Carl, wherever the fuck he is. But like, Carl would always make fun of me. He's like, I can definitely tell when you start body language mastery and when you end it, because at the end you look like you're fucking dead. You know, so I'm well rested now, so I don't have the glasses on and shit. But yeah, you know, like I do put in the sweat equity for sure. But like I
Yeah.
said, I've already made my choice that this is what I want to do with my life. And, you know, I was, you know, behind the scenes, I was always pushing the guys like, we need to fucking do a live event. Like, I was like telling them, like, dude, I named this fucking event Hot Dude Con, and these people showed up. Like, they want to meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
Oh,
and
dude, that's the worst timing ever, by the way, on that. It
I
sucks. It was
know.
all psyched and everybody was in there like 4 days or something like that.
Ugh, I know. Goddamn Corona ruined it for everybody.
Hmm.
But,
Well,
you
that's right. At
know,
least in the meantime, you can get girls coming over. That's the thing. So, more back to the course again. A lot of guys think that during the quarantine, you basically aren't, nobody's getting any unless you already have a girl with you at home. And I don't think they understand like that. You know, the MGTOW, how 80% of the Pareto principle, 80% of the women going after the top 20%. Like you're seeing that play out
yeah.
in real time. And
Oh,
the
yeah.
funniest part of it is the top 20% aren't what guys think the top 20% are. At
Yep.
this point, it's just the guys who are actually trying and have a semblance of competence
Yep.
to the point where, like, yeah, 65-year-old guys are slaying those girls you should have been getting.
I mean, you know, it's just the you know, the I to put my finger on it, like, you know, this is gonna sound like I hate my mom, which I definitely don't, but like, single moms are becoming more and more prevalent, and they don't know how to raise men.
Nope.
That's what it is. And you got these companies like that are like champion single moms over married moms now. Like, oh, you're married, you're a fucking weak, dumb whore, you know? Compared to like, oh yeah, like you're a single mom, you got pumped and dumped. Like, oh my god, you're so empowered. Like, how can you tell us how to be unlovable so like men discard you? You know what I mean? And I think that if you look at the data, there it's night and day. Like, did you see that Instagram post I posted the other day on my meme channel?
Dude, I show those all to my girl. She
Did
laughs at half of them. It's
did
awesome.
did you see the one where that lady is putting her like 4-year-old daughter and teaching her how to use a stripper pole?
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. I was like, what the hell?
And she's
I
probably
got
like going,
distracted because Rich right after that put one where a chick was stripping in front of like somebody's like 6-year-old's birthday party. So I was like, man,
you know, and that's why I blame. Like in my opinion, what's going on is that there's a lot of things going on right now with in America that, you know, men are kind of just disregarded as expendable and not important. You know what I mean? And girls are starting to realize, like, yo, where are all the real men at? And that's why girls now more than ever, I think a little bit now more than ever, girls are more willing to share an alpha than to have full ownership over a beta, because betas are everywhere.
and if you guys don't believe this, here's a perfect example. Top tier married dude has a side chick who's waiting for him to leave his wife for her. He never leaves. That's so common. Everybody will know one old guy who's like that. So that's an exact example that everybody knows of girls sharing guys like that. And a lot of the times the wife even knows, but the guy's got discretion. The guy makes sure that everything's taken care of, and none of that nonsense comes back to embarrass her publicly. So, like, there is something to this. It's not just guys LARPing on the internet.
Yes. Yeah. And you know, and I think that the biggest, I think that the saddest thing, I guess I could say, is like guys who, you know,
Spit it out, John.
they think they are masculine icons and they think they're doing the right thing, but they're just idiots that are bold, like all those morons at the 21 convention. Like, I don't know how a guy who is in his mid 40s who looks like he's pregnant with quadruplets is going to tell me about the fundamentals of being a well-rounded masculine man when, like, you look like you're in your third trimester. Like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? And it's just, but again, that's just the self-righteous side of me that's like trying to save the world. That will never ever happen. It's just
Yeah.
like part of being a man is like accepting that some people will not be saved, and sometimes you just got to watch the world burn.
Mm-hmm. Enjoy the decline, dude. I'm a huge fan of that. But you're 100% right. And that's the weirdest thing. There's almost, because people are so conflict averse now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to sound like call out culture, but it's not that at all. But people are afraid to call a spade a spade. Like sometimes when you see a fat guy talking about top tier women, you just kind of have to go like, dude, like, does self-control not factor anywhere into your dating regimen?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, maybe he's got a coke habit. That can always work for Chris Farley, but still, it's not sustainable.
Yeah, and I said, like, going back to just that's why I think everything is such a mess right now. And honestly, with what I did with the whole pandemic pickup thing is like, what I'm basically doing is providing an outlet from my brain into yours, because I really don't know how to, like, this is gonna sound arrogant, but I have so much fucking game. I just don't know how to take it out of my head and put it into people's minds. So I'm doing it piece by piece with these courses, because like I said, I earlier you said like 200, 300 lay is common these days. It's not, man. It's not. I mean, you have to really, like, being a player. Like Donovan always says it. Being a player is a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like working a sales job. Have you ever worked a sales job before?
Yeah, briefly. Most of my time isn't, but you are right.
You always have to source. You always have to be looking for clients. Like when you're a salesman, there's no day off. Like it's like a fucking nonstop grind. And it's the same thing when you want to be like a high level playboy. Like you always got to be looking for new girls. Always got to be looking for new opportunities. What's going on with the newest dating app? What's going on with the newest bar? Oh, this bar sucks. Oh, this bar went from like super chic to like they always have ghetto nights now. And like, where do we move to the next spot? It's like it's a nonstop chasing kind of game. And if you don't know what you're doing, you'll get eaten up, and you'll get eaten alive financially and emotionally if you don't have the right tool set to get out there and make it happen with.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. Girls have a habit. If they get a little too comfortable, they start pushing boundaries. And if you're the kind of guy who hasn't sourced new talent, for lack of a better term, then you're going to fall for that, because you're going to have a bit of scarcity, because you're like, oh, I haven't gotten a new plate in forever. I've just got this one. I better treat her nicer.
Yes.
Meanwhile, she just starts running roughshod over you. That's been around for as long as forever.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, the course has been really, it's been booming. Somebody just signed up again right now. So, like I said, I'm just looking forward to getting behind the scenes and helping these dudes out, because the reality is, like, as of right now, I have been launched for about 26 hours, and I have 112 enrollments. I was expecting 60 over the 5-day period. So one thing we added as a bonus, I just decided to do it, is we're actually going to add a private Facebook group as well. That's going to be specifically only online game. So you can post your profiles in there. You can post your photos. You can post your text conversations. If you're having a girl and you're like, oh, she said this, I don't know how to text, I don't know how to reply, I don't know how to set up the date, we'll have our guys get in there and make it happen.
Nice.
And, that is one thing I wanted to give back to the community, because honestly, at this rate, it's looking like the course it's 112 people now, and it's just 2 hours over the day one. I'm thinking like 200 is definitely within the picture, maybe even 300. But I'm just, like I said, these guys who sign up now, you guys know me. You guys, some of them are repeat offenders, people who signed up before. And I will 1,000% deliver. I will 1,000% help these guys out. And if you guys know anything about me and Ryan's integrity, I mean, it's solid. It's there. So if you're having trouble with your online dating and you just really want somebody to help you maximize it, this will carry over into the professional world. This will help you out on LinkedIn. This will help you out on if you have your personal website for your, like some of you guys are entrepreneurs, you have your own business. We're going to do image consultancy behind the scenes. We're going to do a lot of things, and it's 100% all in the course. The link's in the chat there. Pandemic pickup, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a good one for sure.
Oh yeah, dude. If it's even half as good as Body Language Mastery, and so far you're making it sound better, should be pretty good. And I will say this. I've heard, so obviously being, I don't know, a big guy in this space, whatever the hell that means, probably nothing, but I always hear through the grapevine people's impressions about this guy's course or this guy's book and this guy's this and this guy's that. And it's always like a mix. Some people it's just straight out scam. That's all you ever hear. but I don't think I've ever heard anybody say anything negative about your course. Not even, I'm not even saying like, is it a scam or is it legit? Because that's like, nobody can argue that it's not legit,
Right.
but that it didn't work or it didn't achieve what they aimed to do, which I think is rare. Like, I don't think I've ever heard that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm relentlessly working in there, and I have a high level of communication with the people on the ground. A lot of my guys, they always tell me like, hey, like you should outsource it, you should make other people do it. But as long as I can physically do the work, I mean, I don't mind sitting in there and doing like I said, doing the whole, um, the whole follow up thing, like sitting there talking to these guys, following up. What happened? Tell me the exact situation. Like I had a guy who was dealing. I think you actually helped coach him. You remember, I don't know if you remember Brent, but he had the dad who was like really abusive, and he was living under his
Oh
household.
yeah, I remember him. Yeah, yeah. How's he doing, by the way? Did he move out like he was planning?
Yeah, he moved out. He's out now, and he's on his way to Texas to restart everything. But it's just like little things like that where I can just make sure that they are getting sorted in regards to the plans that we have, like following through. And I didn't even like pressure him or anything. He's like, "Hey, I want to sign up for Pandemic Pickup too. I want to maximize this dating stuff I have as well." And like I said, I wasn't even trying to like sell him, but but if you do the guys well on the first front end, then they will trust you, and that is where the value comes in regards to longevity, because these guys will be like, yeah, this fucking crazy asshole in the bathrobe, like he changed my life. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's reputation and trust. It takes forever to build, but it can be lost very easily. And it's something
Yes.
like we've talked. I know I don't like talking behind the scenes, but yeah, we've talked about that incessantly. And usually every time we'll have a meeting over something, like when COVID canceled or had us postpone the Real Zero Live event, we
Right.
kind of worked out like, well, okay, well, we can't just like reschedule it. So we rescheduled it and added more onto it. So there's always, it's rare, but there's always like what's in it for the end, like for the end user is like forefront in this stuff, which I really love.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like I love it. I love doing it, and this whole thing is just
It's rewarding.
it is rewarding, and I don't see myself not doing this. Like, once like I was planning my hot dude tour. You know what I mean?
Which I still can't get over. I know it's fun, and I just can't. I just can't. I
Isn't
can't
that
even.
It's so funny, right? I know, I love it. It's ridiculous, and part of me, I enjoy doing it, because it is kind of ridiculous. I really enjoy kind of having the funny names and stuff, because, again, for the people like right now we are having this conversation. We're an hour in on the conversation, right?
Yeah.
If there's some lazy SJW loser that wanted to like deplatform me and stuff, that person already gave up like 15 minutes into the conversation. You know what I mean?
Although
So
we're losing some of those. Did you see? It's the newest thing on the news. The guy who got Count Dankula's demonetized, and a lot of those other guys.
mhm.
He was working for BuzzFeed, got hired by the Financial Post, started spying on other journalists through their Zoom links, and he just got blacklisted. And it turns out he's been
Oh,
friends with all these guys at like YouTube and Patreon and that. And the rumor is he was basically calling in favors for friends to get people demonetized. So that SJW thing is actually starting to turn the tides. Like that nepotism starting to have some consequences, which is awesome.
wow. That is awesome, man, because those people were fucking evil, man.
Oh yeah.
Like canceling somebody's livelihood just because you're a fucking loser, basically, like that's not that's not cool. You know
No,
what I
it's
mean?
not. But that's the problem. If you're like a rich kid who was raised not knowing nothing, and you think feminism is the best way to get in a girl's pants, of course you're going to do this stuff. You're going to think it's great. We're not in a society that you can't punch people in the mouth anymore, which, God bless. Thank God for that. A lot of less broken noses and goofy eyes, but
I don't know if I'm that excited about a non-punching in the face society.
I will say this from my redneck upbringing. Yeah, it's amazing how polite people are when there's always that threat in the background. I'll give it that.
Absolutely. I mean, look, and another thing is this, right? Man, a punch in the face puts a man on the righteous path. That's like one of my things I always say. I've been punched in the face before, and it makes you Shocker, right?
Yeah.
I've been punched in the face before, and it really makes you think twice. And it really, to be honest with you, getting punched in the face like makes you a more compassionate person. It makes you more empathetic. You're like, oh shit, like I got punched in the face before last time I said that. Maybe I shouldn't piss this guy off. You know what I mean?
Oh, I agree. And here's the thing I love about that too. Like even from just like picking up women perspective, it adds a certain calmness or like a cool charisma to you because you're not just
Yeah.
mouthing off like a chihuahua anymore because you realize like there's consequences to this. If I feel strongly enough to get hit or to hit somebody, then I'll say it. But until then, you let so much stuff slide. And it's that aloofness is super attractive. At least from
Yeah.
every girl I've ever dated or spoken to. Mostly dated. The spoken to ones, I don't listen to what they say too much, but
And you know, I think, you know, going back to the whole single mother kind of thing, like, you know, single moms, they don't let the kids, they don't let the boys fight, and you got to let the kids fight. You got to let them get that angst out. It's just part of growing up. Now, I'm not telling you let Billy stomp Bobby's head in the fucking playground, but you know, like you got to let them, you got to let the boys be boys to an extent. And I know there's like a whole campaign like don't teach the boys to be boys because then they're gonna grow up and be rapists. You know, it's just like not like that, you insane feminist weirdos.
dude, and kids suck at fighting. They can roughhouse all day. They're not going to hurt each other. They like flail.
It's like watching two drunk girls fight over a hot dog outside of the club. It's terrible. Like that, you know.
I've seen that far too much.
Yeah, I have too. That's where I got the reference from. But like, you know, it's just you got to let them do it, and that's why, you know. You ever see somebody who has been punched in the face for the first time and watch them freak out? Like, you know,
oh, dude,
it's hilarious.
Yeah, they switch over to like the animal brain. They don't even. It's not even words. It's just like emotions. That Goku hair fire thing, except for it's a lot flailier.
But like I said, it's good for the kids at the end of the day. I think it's a good thing, and you know, I think it's kind of been what's kind of been taken away out of our society a little bit. So you know, I think the threat in the back of the head is good. I think that's why, you know, in America, I think there's still a little bit of respect because like people think like, oh, this motherfucker might have a gun. You know what I mean? So
yeah, true.
This dude might shoot me, and I think it's a good thing overall.
Well, it's where we're at right now. There's like a generation or two of men who didn't get any of this. It's at the point where, unfortunately, and this, I don't mean this as a slight against you, some random douche on the internet with aviator shades and a bathrobe has to give you a space where you can do it again. Yep. Which is, I guess, it's not a slight because you're doing it well. It just sucks that we're at a place where, like, guys like you even have to exist. And I would say have to exist. But, I mean, it is where it is. And but we fluffing you a little bit here, but I'm glad at least it's a guy like you as opposed to a guy angling the angle that, you know, you stand with the other person all day, because that would be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. And again, like going back to, you know, the men kind of needing a space and then the longevity. I'm not gonna lie. Part of me, like, I like, you know how it is when you become an influencer like this. Like, you just like want your subscribers to go up. Like, it's just like you just want, like, it's not even like I want to be famous. It's just like, fuck, I want my subscribers to go up. I want more people, because it's like you get suckered into this game of like, I need views, I need likes, I need subscribers. But I obviously I do, because I'm just like a driven guy. That's just like what I want.
Well, it's part of the game. If you want to do this as a business, you have to.
Absolutely, yeah. And like being like red pill guys, like we are, you know, we're logically oriented in reality, and we also are, or like, you know, we're achievement based. We want achievements and we want to win. And so that taco looks great. I'm on a diet, can you tell? But you know, I
can tell you're American, by the way, when you call that a taco.
Yeah, I know. I know you're the taco elitist. I know. Yeah. I'm a taco connoisseur in Tokyo. If you want to listen, if you think American tacos are bad, you would drop a third bomb on Japan if you had tacos over here, because they
perfect everything. Like, I love their fried chicken.
The fried chicken is good, but they don't know how to do tacos. It's
Oh, that's
really
annoying.
it's a shame. It's a crying shame.
What were we
It's a
talking about though? Failures of dads. And then we got into tacos.
my love for food took me off on the path of tacos. But no, yeah, no, just like that. That just goes to I want to grow. Like I want 100,000 subscribers now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just want it now. But I know that by doing the slow and honest grind, it's the right way to grow sustainably. And Gary V. I know I'm gonna sound like a normie quoting Gary V. But he talks about it like just be patient. He's like, do the work and be patient, and you'll get everything you want.
Wow,
And
he
it's
finally
true.
said something that's useful. Well, I guess there was his whole like sell things on Facebook 30,000 plan. Other than that, though, it's a lot of feel goods.
Yeah, I mean he's when you talk as much as he does, there's a lot of feel goods, but there's also a lot of gems in there.
Mhm.
Like I know Rolo hates Anthony Robbins, but like I like watching his stuff.
Well, that's why he hates them because of how like interesting and entertaining it is to watch.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a maniac, but in a good way. I think like if you do a consultation with him, I think it's like $25,000 an hour or something.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's
Well, if
pretty
I'm
good.
gonna hate him, I can't hate him for doing what he does well.
Yeah, I mean, I watched I watched a little bit of his documentary on Netflix, and the guy, he's a boss, man. He
You see,
is a boss.
I never aimed for something that high. I kind of like how everybody that's kind of in this space wants to be the next Anthony Robbins, or they want to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger, or some giant brand thing like a PewDiePie or whatever. I
Right.
honestly would just be happy being like one of a million lawyers in this space. And I know it sounds lame, but you know what I mean? Like lawyers have everybody rags on them for being unethical, or like doctors. You have a code of ethics, you have like a proper skill set, you have a service provided. It's like that hard work, put the dirt on your hands, you provide a service, you're actually fixing things. The branding is a necessary evil, but it's
Right.
like tradecraft. It's like an artist. I'm selling paintings. Yeah, there's all this emotion and stuff behind it. Yeah, I got to build my brand. But at the end of the day, I'm selling something to somebody that improves their life in some measurable way, and I'm held to account for that. I would love that. But I think that's about as unrealistic as me being the next Anthony Robbins. So I'm like you, where I just stopped getting angry.
I
There's no
mean,
point.
I would tell this to every man. Honestly speaking, if you can figure out a way, oh look at that, just two back to back just signed up. All right, woo. If you can, as a man, if you can figure out a way to, um, with your side hustle, make let's be very easy with the numbers. $70,000 a year with your side hustle, right?
Mhm.
Working 10 hours a week, the quality of your life will go up so high that you'll realize I don't really need to be rich and famous and successful and stuff. Once you make that little extra 70 grand a year, you can do whatever you want. Like last year, I mean, I was able to live a pretty nice life. Last year, I went to Vietnam, I went to Korea, I went to USA 3 times.
You go to Okinawa, which is like Hawaii for Japan. Well, I
I
guess
went to
Hawaii is
Okinawa.
like Hawaii for Japan, but it's like the
No,
Florida.
you're right. No, you're right. It is the Hawaii of Japan. You're 1,000% correct with that
Ah,
analogy. Okinawa is beautiful. I went there with last year, and I went there and I was able to buy whatever I wanted to, and I wasn't like buying like gold necklaces and stuff. I was like buying pancakes, and I got an extra order of bacon. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Well, yours is bounded. Is backed by science. Economists have all studied this. Like, how much money do people need or want, and they factored in for the average like North American lifestyle. 75 grand is about where the dollar per happiness ratio maxes out. Anything after there, it can't be about money. It's not going to increase your life. It's not going to make you happier. It's always about something else. Like you said, if you want to help more people, if you want to do this as a marker for success, if you want to do it because you want to invest or pay salaries, that's one thing. But if you had a side hustle that makes 70 grand a year, you're pretty much coasting at that point. Like everything you need is handled. And the sky's the limit at that point because you're not
yeah,
fighting to not be unhappy,
right,
which I think is a
exactly.
freeing thing. Oh man, it's so freeing.
You know, when you can figure out your side hustle, you just got to make enough money so you're not worried about money. That's where the real happiness where it
Mhm.
comes. That's like where the real happiness comes from. And then you'll kind of realize, and I know this is going to piss some people off when I say this because it used to piss me off. Then you'll realize that, and this I kind of hate myself saying this because just bear with me. You'll realize that money's not that important. And I know some guys are gonna throw his phone across the room right now.
Yeah.
Money is important, and I know I say it as I'm like fucking playing with $1,000 in yen on my desk, but
It's important until you have it. Then it's no longer important.
absolutely. If I can quote Kanye West, he says, "Having money is not everything, but not having it is."
Hmm.
You know, and that's what I tell the guys. Like, if you could just really just put a little work in, even if it takes you 5 years. I mean, the quality of your life will skyrocket. But a lot of guys, they just don't want to do the work. Like, I'm gonna get biblical on you, but it's true. Like, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. There's a lot of women out there that want to get banged by a dude like me, and there's a lot of money out there, and there's a lot of customers ready to get ready to hand over their money, but so few people want to do the work to get on the other side of the coin from
And the
produce.
patience, because like you
Yeah,
said, you're right. It is like multi-year. So your first year is huge struggle, and then the second year is less struggle, and third year is less struggle. And then everybody I've talked to who's done any kind of entrepreneurial thing about that 5 year mark, like if that would be your first year, everybody would do it. But the fact that your fifth year means almost nobody does it,
yeah, and a
which is
lot of people.
interesting though. It's kind of like pickup or just talking to girls or dating. If you could automatically have your nines and tens, everybody be doing it. But no, it takes effort and it takes work and it takes patience and it takes the lack of fear of failure because you're going to fail a lot. And each one of those fails gets easier and easier and less frequent.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, what else are you going to do? Jerk off in your living room all day?
Yeah,
That's another quote from the book, by the way. I think I'm even a chapter header.
Is it really chapter 17? What are you gonna do? Jerk off in your living room all
Well,
day?
it's like, well, what else are you going to do with your life? Like, why
Uh,
wouldn't you want some kind of hardship? Why wouldn't you want to struggle and get better at something that's difficult? So that was like one of the main struggles I came up with too, same as you, where that first year of doing anything. My first year in the military sucked. The second year got better. Third year got better. By the fifth year, I was basically living on easy street and then aim for higher and it didn't work. So I move out to other things. That's the other
yeah.
thing too. You're allowed to switch in your life. Everybody's worried, what if I pick the wrong thing too? Well,
Yep.
what if I do all this Tinder stuff and it turns out day game is better? It's like, dude, you're allowed to change your mind and switch. You haven't lost the years
Hmm.
of investment you've put into stuff.
And the reality is this too: unanswered questions undeniably equals delayed progress.
Yeah. I know
So it,
I'm ruining the serious moment here with
you're
some
good.
levity, but screw it.
you know, if you don't answer these questions, you're still going to be delayed in your progress no matter what, because that question's going to be floating around unanswered in your head. That's a
Hmm.
big thing a lot of guys don't seem to realize.
And I think the first way to get there is just learn how to take proper photos for your Tinder and build an Instagram account.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The Instagram is not going anywhere anytime soon. Like, to have a high status Instagram, and we're gonna teach you how to do it all, man. Listen, these girls have their face apps and all that stuff. Us too, us men, we can get even and we can show them how to play the game, and that's what I do. If you guys actually, so for you guys that are wondering, I'm actually in the process right now. If you want to track it, if you follow Hot Dude Life on Instagram, it's a dead account. There's nothing. There's no profile. There's no photos. It has about 200 followers, right? Because I just mentioned this on my show yesterday. I am going to build that Instagram from the ground up, talking about how to build talking about that in the webinars and showing exactly how to build a high value Instagram. So if
Ooh,
you want
look
to
at you
follow,
putting it on the line.
yeah. No, because I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. They're gonna see too. They're 1,000% gonna see. I was shocked Hot Dude Life was available on Instagram, but that's gonna be like my business card, and I'm gonna use that in Tokyo anytime I meet some associates. Like, yeah, just follow me, Hot Dude Life, because it's gonna be so hard to forget. How can you not forget that? Like, if I tell you follow me on Instagram, Hot Dude Life, you know what I mean?
It's
So
catchy.
it is, and that's part of the game as well. We're gonna teach you how to choose a correct username. We're gonna teach you how to correctly upload the photos in what order, what you want to put on there, and then it's from there. It's just like it's gonna be easy mode. But yeah, most of these guys
And
just
you can get on some like famous Twitch shows and not get booted because of your horrible misogyny on this dude account.
Oh, but that's my Twitch name is Hot Dude Life. So yeah, but I didn't even get banned. I wasn't even banned because of anything valid. There was some disgusting SJW who they found out later had like was hitting on like young children to like underage kids. The
Yeah.
same guy that like ratted on me. He's like he's transphobic. Blah blah blah. This guy was like a 37-year-old, like I'm not even joking, like 280-pound mess of a man who's like pansexual, lives with some dude, whatever. And he was like trying to say that I'm a creep. I was like, really, dude? Like, really? Do you not own a mirror? Like, get the fuck out of
Oh,
here.
I didn't even know about that one. I just knew the one where some guy was on the Twitch thing, was hitting on a girl there who just loved screwing around with him, didn't really care. But then you went on there, and then the
Mhm.
girl started flirting with you, and then all of a sudden he pulls out your Instagram saying, "No, I can't have you on here, man. This is too mean to women."
Yeah, exactly. That's
That
what
one was
happened.
hilarious.
That's what happened. It was in 2 weeks. I went from being a nobody on Twitch to the largest live streaming show on Twitch available. And then, and
Even bigger
then,
than the girl sleeping, huh?
yeah, that one had like 27,000 live viewers. And
Jeez.
yeah, I made it all the way deep into the show, but then they're like, they got me off.
Thirst is gonna thirst.
Yeah, it is what it is. The
That's too
SCW
bad though. Had
model.
you waited just a couple months later, that simping thing would have been so huge, and you would have just crushed it.
I've been flirting with the idea to go back on Twitch, to be honest with you. I have been. I'm trying to make. I don't know if the guys want to see me or whatever, but I have a business model in plan, and it would take a lot of work, which I'm no like I'm no stranger to hard work, but
Where do you
I
work?
it would just be I would buy like I would buy this thing. It's called a gun run pack, and it's a backpack with like 4 batteries in the back, and it has like 3 Wi-Fi routers, and it has a shoulder camera, and just walk around Tokyo and just like film everyday Japanese life and live stream it. It's a genre on Twitch.
Dude, that's like a military op.
Yeah,
There's
I know.
guys, yeah, they called them sig ops, and they literally would walk around with that gear.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't
that's
know
what I've
why,
been.
but I'm picturing you doing it in camouflage too, not just like normal clothes.
I do
A
wear.
duck hunting hat.
I do have some camouflage. I have to borrow Rolos.
Dude, it made me realize you wanted to do that duck hunt episode or whatever, and I realized I have no camouflage in this house. Not even a bandana, not a scarf, nothing. It's like I can
Yeah.
tell that like I'm still a little raw about the military. I'm like, I ain't wearing none of that.
Yeah, and that one was that just to like talk about it. That friggin' camouflage that I was wearing, that was from Guess, and
Really
my girlfriend bought it for me, and so it's not even like some macho camouflage. It's like some city boy shit.
nice.
Rolo
I'm
was
picturing you underneath with those, those chrome dog tags that were big there for a while.
uh
Nothing written on them. They're just shiny, flicker.
what's funny is that they have like the breed of like the military nerds that they have in
Mhm.
Canada and the United States.
Oh, those
They,
stolen valor guys.
no, no, like guys that are just like they're not in the military, but they're just really
Oh,
all about the military.
yeah, they would have joined, but they had that ingrown toe. Yeah, I know the
Wh-
types.
Whatever those guys are all over Japan. Like those,
Really?
because we call it nerd in Japanese otaku, so they're like military otakus. It's
Is
really
that what
fucking.
otaku means?
Yeah, otaku means like nerd.
Oh, I hear that word so much. I had no idea what it meant. I thought it was just like some anime reference, but now everything just got really funny for me.
Yeah, they're just little nerds, and so it's really funny because they are all like they have like they go to the dog tag shops and and they buy like the MREs and they eat them and everything. It's
Oh,
just it's just like in the United
that's
States.
so cringe.
It's funny, right? Because you know what the bottom feeder of all the nerds is though, like the Omega nerd, like the George Bruno of the nerds out here is.
Oh, I'm afraid to ask.
No, it's not sexual at all.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but no, it's the train otakus, and there's these guys that they love the trains and they study the train models. They're like, oh, this is a model 775, or this is the Shinkansen Nozomi, and they go to the train station, they pay the fare, and they stand on the side of the rail and they like take a bunch of photos as the train comes in, and like they have a train collection and they have model trains at home and stuff.
Oh wow, that's like a 1950s nerd. That's such a throwback.
Yeah, they are. They're they're funny for
Oh,
sure.
that's so cringe with the military ones though. Like we did that when you first get out of basic training. Like every guy does it, where he'll go to the bar in his green basic training T-shirt with the dog tags hanging out underneath. So you see that big square, and
Hmm.
everybody's yelling "hoo-ah" when you're drinking. And at the time, it was the coolest thing ever. But then once you get out and you take your trades courses and you see that, you're like, half these bouncers were moonlighting, and you're the ones working. You're working for them from the ship, and they just start laughing.
Yeah,
They're like, yeah, everybody does that. You look just as ridiculous. And none of the girls like you because they know you just came from basic.
you
And
know,
there's guys that are like, yeah, I'm gonna have me more of that.
the military otaku guys are really funny. But I mean, just again to show you, there's just like there's guys like that all over the world. Like going back to pandemic pickup is that most guys are pretty bad with game. They don't want to admit it. And for those of you that realize that, hey, you know what, I do want to be a little bit better at this. You can get better at this, and it'll take some time. But if you put in the work, you do the effort, we can get you results. That's the end of the story right there.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you got to provide something. People are going to give up hard-earned money, come back with a useful skill, or brush up on one that maybe needs some things. Because that's just it. Like you did say, it's for a guy who's literally started not knowing anything about online dating. But at the same time, if you just need a brush up, I can see it being useful too. Like maybe you miss something very early on. Like I do this with tons of things where I think I'm pretty good at something, like editing a video or something, but then I'll see somebody show me this basic thing that I didn't learn on day one. Saves me a ton of time. I end up kicking myself in the ass for it, but whatever. I'm glad to have known now, like to use DaVinci Resolve instead of the tools I was using before. Saved me a ton of time.
Yeah, and like I said, you'll get the results down the road if you get a mentor and you stick with it. That's the big thing right there.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know how much time you wanted to go for. I figured 90
Uh,
minutes. Does that work for you?
I'm good here. We can cut it here. I mean, just go use Ryan's link, sign up, get into the course, get behind the scenes, have a chat with me, pick my brain. You'll see that I'm the real deal. And yeah, man, this will get you unlimited text message course training, unlimited text message coaching with the course and training until the end of the year, December 31st, 2020. That Telegram chat group will be open. The Facebook group will probably be open for a long time. And then the Zoom webinar training starts on May 12th. So get in right now because it closes forever on May 9th, this Saturday at 11:59 p.m. because unless there's another global pandemic coming back, which I don't think there is, definitely take advantage of this right now, and we can make things happen with your dating life.
How stupid are you going to look if SARS makes a comeback here in December?
Oh, I'll release Pandemic Pickup Part 2.
Fair enough. All right, you guys heard all the thing. Thanks for sticking around. Like I said, I don't have an outro video for this thing yet. It's still brand new. I've only done a few of them. Feel free. Courses, links in the description. You guys know where to reach John and I other than that. So I won't do the whole spiel. But I'll catch you guys on the next one, man. Cheers.